Built an awesome app but stuck on how to actually get paid? You're in the right place. Today, we'll dive into integrating Stripe for payments using the powerful combo of Go and the Gin web framework. Don't worry, it's easier than you think. I walk you through setting up Stripe on your backend step by step. By the end of this, you have a clear path to handling transactions in your Go projects. So, why this specific combo? Stripe is a lifesaver for handling online transactions. It's incredibly robust, super developer friendly, and manages all the complex, sensitive payment logic securely behind the scene. Pair that with Go and Gin, known for their blazing speed and efficiency, and you've got a fantastic backend foundation for secure payments. It's a real dream team for modern web. Alright, let's map out our journey. We are focusing purely on the backend today. We'll start by getting our Stripe and Ngrok accounts ready, then bootstrap a new Gin project. We'll define the happy endpoint for payments, pull in the official Stripe Go library, and actually process a test payment. We also touch up on handling essential webhooks and basic error scenarios, and finally test everything to make sure it's working smoothly. Hey, quick pause. If you're ready to level up your backend skills with Go and Stripe, do me a solid and hit that like button. And if you enjoy backend focused tutorial like this one, consider subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and let me know what content you want to see. Okay, before we dive into the code, let's quickly cover what you need to follow along. Basic Go knowledge, some Gin experience, a Stripe account, a Ngrok account, Go install, and obviously your favorite code editor. Don't worry, if you're not a Gin expert, basic Go knowledge is the main thing, and the Stripe and Ngrok accounts are free to get started with. Okay, time to code. Let's build our Gin backend. Open your terminal. First, initialize your Go module if you haven't. Now, let's set up a clean project structure. We'll create standard folders like common, internal, and package. In internal, you will see server, config, controllers, database, middlewares, models, repository, routes, server, services, and finally utils. Inside of common/server, create a main.go. This is our application entry point where we launch the Gin server. Next, in the internal/config folder, create config.go. This will hold our application configuration like API key loaded from the environment. Finally, create a .env file in your project root. This is crucial for securely storing sensitive info like your Stripe keys. Never commit this file to Git. Now, let's configure Stripe and Ngrok. Head over to stripe.com, log in, and navigate to the developers section. Find your API key, specifically the secret key. Paste it into your .env file like this. Next, we need Ngrok to expose our local server to Stripe for webhooks. Go to ngrok.com, sign up, and follow the setup instruction to install it. Once installed, run the command to start an HTTP tunnel, usually ngrok http 8080. Ngrok will give you a public HTTPS URL. Back in the Stripe dashboard, go to developers, webhooks, click add endpoint. Make sure the API version match what you intend to use. Select events and choose checkout session complete, customer subscription update, and delete. Click add events, then add endpoint. Pass your Ngrok URL and append the path we'll use for webhook /api/stripe/webhooks. So the full endpoint URL will be https:// your Ngrok URL /api/stripe. Stripe will now show you a webhook sign-in secret. This is vital for security. Copy this secret, add it to your .env file, and remember, if you restart Ngrok, you get a new URL, and you must update the endpoint URL in Stripe. One more Stripe step. Let's create a test product. Go to products, add project, give it a name, like for example test, and set a recurring price. Don't forget to save the product. Click on the product you just create. Under additional option, metadata, add a key, subs, with the value true. We'll use this later to identify subscription products in our code. Now, copy its product ID. Go back to your config file and store this ID, so you could know which product to offer. Okay, back to the code. In the internal/server folder, create server.go. Here, we'll initialize the Gin engine. Load our config, connect to the database, set up repositories and services, attach middleware, and register our API routes. We'll need middleware. Let's install Gin contrib packages. In internal/middlewares, create course.go and logging.go. We'll configure course rules in course.go and set up request logging in logging.go. Now for the database. We'll use MongoDB in this example. Create database.go in internal/database. This file handles connecting to MongoDB using the connections tree, which you should also put in your .env file. Install the official Go MongoDB driver. With the database connection logic ready, let's define our data structure. In internal/models, create subscription.go. Define a Go struct here that represents the subscription data we'll store in MongoDB. Things like user ID, Stripe subscription ID, status, current period ends, etc. To keep our database logic clean, we'll use the repository pattern. In the internal/repository folder, create payments.go. This layer is responsible only for database operations related to subscription. Define an interface. Say payment repository. Outlining methods like save, get by Stripe subscription ID, get by user ID, update, delete. Then implement this interface using the MongoDB driver. You might also create a types.go in this folder, as we need shared repository types in a struct to hold multiple repository instances. Next up is the service layer, which contains our core business logic. Add stripe.go in internal/services. This service will use the repository and interact with the Stripe API. First, install the Stripe Go library. Inside stripe.go, define a Stripe service struct. It will need access to your repository and the Stripe configuration. Create a new Stripe service function to initialize it. We'll add methods here like create checkout session, handle webhook event, and helpers like get or create customer. The create checkout session method will take a user ID and project ID, told to Stripe to create the session, and return the checkout URL. The handle webhook event method is critical. It needs to first call a helper function. Let's call it authenticate webhook to verify the incoming request signature using the Stripe webhook secret you save. This is crucial for security. Once verified, handle webhook event will look at the event type and perform actions like saving or updating the subscription in our database using the repository. Again, a types.go in the services folder can be useful for grouping service interface or struct. Now, let's connect our service logic to Gin HTTP handling. Inside internal/controllers, add a stripe.go. Controllers parse incoming request, call the appropriate service method, and format the responses. We'll need two main handler functions here, matching Gin's signature, handle Stripe checkout and handle Stripe webhook. Handle Stripe checkout will extract the product ID and user ID. Call create checkout session and return the session URL as JSON. Handle Stripe webhook reads the request body, passes along with the Stripe signature header to handle webhook event, and it returns a 200 OK to Stripe if successful. Almost done. Let's define the API route. In internal/routes, add stripe.go. Here, we map URL path to our controllers method. Create a function Stripe's routes that take the Gin router. Inside, define a post request pointing to handle Stripe webhook and a get request pointing to create Stripe checkout. Since we don't have real user login in this demo, let's add a simple middleware just for this route. This middleware will inject her add codec user ID into the request context. Almost finished. We only need to add a function in the utils folder and define a type for Stripe checkout. Go to utils and create a file called responsehandler.go. Then navigate to package/types and create another file called stripe.go. In this file, we will define a Stripe checkout type. Finally, go through each file and make sure there are no errors or missing imports. Okay, moment of truth. Run the app. Check the logs for successful DB connection and root registration. Make sure Ngrok is running and the URL is correct in Stripe. Now use Postman or call to hit your checkout endpoint. You should get back a JSON response with a checkout URL. Open that URL in your browser. It's the Stripe checkout page. Use a Stripe test card number like 4242 to pay. After success, check your MongoDB database. You should see the new subscription record created by your webhook handler. And there you have it. We've successfully set up a Go backend using Gin to handle Stripe checkout session and process webhooks, storing subscription data in MongoDB. You now have a solid foundation for accepting payments in your Go application. Pretty cool, right? You could expand this by handling more webhook events, implement a real user authentication system, build a front-end UI, or add more sophisticated error handling. Let me know in the comments what you've built or what you'd like to see next.